Well, good afternoon, Maverick traders. Welcome to the Market Roundup. It's the 2nd of July. Joe with you here, moving into a holiday week, or I should say week that goes into a weekend. We'll talk about it. I've got my 2 cents. Make sure you guys know to follow your own trading plans, take responsibility for the outcome. I'm going to break down some of the news for the day. We are going to look at the markets technically and some of the sectors. And as always, share trades with the community.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional stock and option traders. Maverick Trading is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional trader for Maverick, click the apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
As we move into the market analysis, you're going to see that we actually had a pretty good push to the upside. Well, let's just jump straight to the daily news. The markets moved higher today, and it was about halfway through the day. They started lower. Some dovish remarks from Powell, seeing some cooling in the trend in recent economic data. And I really think it just kind of was a little bit of a shot in the arm to the markets to realize that, hey, you know, some of this stuff might be slowing down, so rate cuts are imminent. Just kind of optimism and good news, and it absolutely reflected into the markets. However, I would expect the volume as of like today to continue to be lighter and lighter and lighter. So there's not a lot behind it. However, it's more of the same. So yes, we should absolutely respect the pattern that it left us with. So how do we finish? Well, the Dow's up 0.41, S&P over 0.5%, Q's just shy of 1%. Russell jumped up there about just shy of 0.75%, and oil and gold kind of flat. So not a lot of changes from what we've been watching with these markets over the last little while. What's outperforming continues to outperform, and what's underperforming, for the most part, is just kind of meandering, moving sideways. Let's go to the advanced decline line. 61% advancing, 35% declining. So yeah, it was generally good news. I'm going to chalk it up to Powell's remarks and the expectations of a rate cut, and seeing that we're in line with that. Above below the 50-day moving average is still on the south side. It is a very select few that are continuing to get bigger, stronger, more aggressive, and continuing. It's the same sectors, the same stocks. Let's not get super aggressive on the bear side. Let's not anticipate anything, but let's continue to follow along with what we see in these markets. Let's take a look at the overall charts because they gave us something to really focus on. Now, what I'm looking at, folks, is I love the fact that we are actually pushing above that line. We talk a lot about the base and base breakouts. Geez, we saw this way back here in this area where the market's based a little bit. We were waiting for this 20-day moving average to catch, and that's kind of how a high base works. We wait for the 20-day moving average to kind of push price action higher. We know, folks, that's not how it works, but sometimes it can be a good indicator to realize, hey, we might break out, which we did with good news, right, folks? We had cooling showing that we were slowing when it comes to inflation, so the markets did break out. I'm talking about that situation. And guess what we just got today? We got a dovish Fed. Powell comes out saying, hey, you know what? We're seeing things in line. We like the way that inflation is going. And subsequently, folks, this is exactly the candle that you get. Now, it hasn't yet broke above that first line. I could make the argument that the volume's light. Yes, we're into a holiday weekend, one of the major holidays of the summer. I don't expect that volume to get any much bigger, that is for sure, without some sort of major announcement, because that holiday falls on a Thursday, goes into a Friday. I just think this week kind of falters off when it comes to participation. But that does not erase the pattern. So we got to stick with our sentiment going into the holiday weekend. And you'll see as we move over to the Qs, folks, it's pretty much the exact same thing. They're just kind of butting their heads up against it on this. It's just a little shy of breaking out. Both of them are. That's fine. So nothing's really confirmed yet. Maybe we get there tomorrow. Maybe we get there before the holiday. I doubt it. Or maybe after we get back. Or maybe the market's correct. It doesn't matter. After that fact is kind of after that fact. But if we're playing the charting game, folks, this is exactly what we're looking for. A high base, pushing up to resistance, still in a very nice pattern. Moving into the heat map, you'll see that everything kind of participated in today's action. Tesla, a little bit of an outlier there with some announcements specific. NVIDIA taking a little bit of a pause. Microsoft, Apple, AMD, I mean, it's all through. These are the leaders. These are the ones that continue to lead. I do have a lot of trades that are on my short watch that even if they did break down, they might have had some bounces up. And that's what's kind of tough is trying to catch some of those bears, folks. It's difficult because when they bounce hard, but just believe in the overall pattern and stick with it. But before that, let's make sure that I get into our market outlook. And yes, I moved this to a +3 and a +3. I have to. It's exactly what I want to see. I've got a nice big Marubozu candlestick, by the way, folks. A Marubozu is a candlestick without shadows. And actually, to tell you the truth, this is probably a Marubozu on close. Marubozu on close means that it closed at its highs, and it did have a nice surge. In fact, all three markets did push higher into the close. What does that mean? Well, it just shows that there's momentum going into tomorrow. I'll go one more time and tell you guys that, hey, the volume I expect it to be light today. I expect it to be lighter into the holiday, let alone the weekend. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to get any sort of conviction, but it's not going to keep price from moving up there. So I would not be surprised if these markets kind of meander up or maybe just make a push and just kind of stop before the holiday or at least into the weekend. Now, I'm not looking to add any major positions here, folks, but anything that's bullish on my end, I'm just going to kind of let it ride out and leave it alone, especially if it's working. That's why we have our parameters in place. That's why we follow our plans and just kind of let things play themselves out. But as far as making a decision that's going to carry me through the end of July, this is not the place to do that. So what do I got as far as some trades, folks? Well, we carry them from week to week. Make sure that you always follow along. But folks, take a look at what's on my potential trades here. Microsoft, Apple, Costco, Amazon. Tell me something I don't know, right? These are all the leaders. These are all the strength. These are the large names, the ones that have been pushing this bull market for a while. I don't want you guys to go ahead and, hey, I've got to buy one of these, but I want you to be mindful of the patterns and what's actually continuing to move. When the markets get optimistic news, they seem to gravitate towards these already strong sectors. So just be mindful of that. On the bear side, things that I've seen bearish tend to stay bearish. UPS, Caterpillar, PayPal, these have been on my watch list for a while. I still like them. HST looks really good. Real estate's breaking down, but the new one I found was Las Vegas Sands. We'll take a look at that one. So this is Apple, folks, and what I want you to focus on is basically the chart. There's a lot of those outperformers that we've seen have very similar charts. They gapped up, they moved higher, big surge to the upside. Oh, they're going to fall apart. They don't. Instead, they range bound, and this looks like it's about ready to break out to new highs. Now, I'm not saying to go buy Apple right here, but it is showing that outperformance and that strength. These are the charts that seem to be leading. But the point I'm trying to get across for today, folks, is nothing's going to change going into the holiday. Whether it's a stock you want to buy or not, it doesn't matter. But look for this type of pattern in these sectors. So let's move directly to the bear side. And I found Las Vegas Sands just not participating. I don't know why, and I don't really care. But I do love this descending triangle pattern that's going on. You could use that 20, 50-day moving average, but a little bit of a leak lower today. Volume was also light. Sorry, folks, that line is not straight. But the volume was a little bit light, but it is indeed falling out of favor. Could you get aggressive with this? Sure. But based on some of the ways these bear stocks can bounce, just be leery of it. PayPal is one that I do love. It had a pretty good bounce today, but it's still within its pattern. There's a couple out there that are continuing to move lower, so just be patient with your bears. The idea here, folks, is just to stay with what's working. So overall, folks, I'm not going to overthink it. I expect to see some sideways into the holiday and into the weekend, more of the same. The leaders will lead and the laggers will struggle. Volume should be light and continue to be light throughout the week. It's a good time to just step back and have a summer vacation. Even if you don't want a vacation, just step back, take a look at your portfolio, see what's going on. There are opportunities out there, but let's not force them, especially if you're already in some positions that are working out or you need to let stuff kind of go to expiration. ADP employment, jobless claims, that's all we got for the rest of the week. I really think that what Powell said there today did have a nice little impact on the markets, and I imagine that's about all we're going to get. Earnings-wise, folks, always check your potential trades. Make sure that you follow your plan, take responsibility for your outcomes, and have a wonderful and safe 4th of July. Talk to you next time. Bye, folks.